Welcome to part 12. We're still on the planet owned by Gadgetron. I swear they'll do this in real life eventually, but not now. So if you remember from last time, we finally got ourselves a Map-O-Matic, which won't be of any use in this Let's Play, but if you're playing this, go wild. It might provide you with some new secrets. So we're finally taking on the main path for this level, which will lead us where we need to get to get that Sky's gadget, which will allow us to turn into, well, not turn into, but look like a little version of those robots from the Quartu planet. Although I did question this and say that, yeah, Clank's technically the small version of those. He was made at the same place and all that, but I guess it's not my place to question some of these sometimes. This is certainly an interesting situation. For once, I have to play tactically. No, do not try to tell me that I should use that strafing function of the thruster pack. That thing is too slow for all that. Yeah, it's just a miracle how I managed to go through this. So, here's how I play it when I'm desperate. I'm finally using these properly. Oh yeah, and as you can tell, the switches are timed. So I had to get a little rush in there, but that's a very easy way to manipulate the player in case they, you know, go in there without being prepared to deal with the robots. Yeah, they got me good one time, but not this time. Yeah, as you can tell, we're going through these whole gauntlet sections where we have to fight test robots that use our weapons. It's the most unique. It's pretty much the one moment where you gotta worry about them being used against you. Yeah, it's a cute little reference, at least. I mean, that's what you'd expect from Gadgetron. Of course, unfortunately, we'll never get our hands on the toys that the Blarg have, so we'll never get our hands on something like a long-range weapon like that. Maybe next game, but certainly not the Blarg type. Oh boy. More bolts. Yeah, could you imagine if I wasn't, you know, didn't put in the effort to cut through all this? Like, I think people are probably already gonna complain about how unenthusiastic I sound in these commentaries, and can't really help it. Just how I am. But man, so many people would complain if I never cut these out. This solution was a little more obvious. It's just me being stupid for some reason, but oh well. Look at that. I didn't even go down. And sometimes I love this game, sometimes I guess. Well, this is one of our beginning weapons, if you remember, the Pyrocitor. This is just your media's flamethrower. Always fun to have. Unfortunately, I believe this is all the weapons they're gonna have on display here in the Gadgetron plant, factory thing or whatever. Kalibo 3 just doesn't have... It pays some respects, but not all the respects. But then again, would you really want them to use those, the agents or the mines? Yeah, I wouldn't either. And yeah, that's what happens when you get hit while in the middle of shooting that. The game just cancels out your rocket out of nowhere. It doesn't even explode or anything. I mean, that would be the generous thing to do. But no, it just ceases to exist the moment the user just suffers a blow. Unfortunately, it couldn't have run out of worse time, because this is another frustrating section if you're not prepared. Because that shows up. Then more enemies come up to replace the ones that I just killed. Yeah, I think this planet provides at least the most interesting gameplay that I have had yet, or I don't try to play the game a bit recklessly. And unfortunately, I think that'll be the only one, really. The other planets don't get nearly as dire as this. Although somehow later games still can easily provide the whole even though you have plenty of health, you will still die quickly thing. I don't know. I don't know why Ratchet Clank has this whole upgradable health thing when it really doesn't matter in the long run when, well, enemies just scale their damage. Like, no, seriously. That's an actual issue that the games have. But maybe we'll get more on that later when it actually matters, because this game doesn't have that issue. But unfortunately, I don't think it'll be very long until, you know, it's a thing. Just like that, we defeated all the enemies here. The invaders and, well, Gadgetron's own personal security that did nothing. I mean, why else were they out there? Well, beyond testing, of course. Well, was that actually a test area? It didn't even like have like, it wasn't even like closed in.
Excuse me, sir. I was wondering if you were concerned about the, invasion?
Son, our defenses are the best money can buy. Don't give it another thought. You ever been on a hoverboard?
Yeah, once or twice.
I am in search of a hip young star to represent my newest line of boards. Someone the kids can look up to.
Then I am your man.
If you can beat my test bots in a race, that job is yours.
And now we enter the second mandatory hoverboard race. I really hope you learn how to use the zoom radar at this point, because if you don't, you'll not win. They do try to provide us the whole new gimmick where we can use the Devastator here, but that doesn't really mean much if you just know what to do. But if you ever want to use it, all it does is just get rid of the enemy.
To fire a rocket, press the circle button.
Or being taught to use the Devastator without even having it. Yes. It's just another weapon you can have. Yeah, so this path here I'm taking is essentially the most optimal one. Well, maybe the way I handle what happens afterwards is maybe less than optimal, but well, I don't care. It's supposed to be the good attempt. Yeah, either this is supposed to be the whole new interesting take on the hoverboarding thing. I didn't really bother much with leaving anything to talk about. You still got those test robots as other racers, so if you can't beat them, you can't progress and get that hollow guys. You can still do your old tricks back in Blackwater City, and now they're usable here. Otherwise, it's much of the same.
That was terrific! Now I just needed to say a few words about our hot new boards.
Huh? Now?
Of course. Just look into that camera right over there and say what comes naturally. Rolling!
Hi. This is Ratchet for, Gadgetron hoverboards. And if you,
Yo, dudes, for the freshest boards in the galaxy, check out the new XZ88 from Gadgetron. It's so hot, it's cool.
I think I got the wrong guy. That was something.
Hey, I was thinking, do I get a discount on gadgets now?
You have to be with the company for 2 years before the employee discount kicks in. I can, however, let you have this.
The Gadgetron HoloGuise is the perfect infiltration device for all our non-robot customers. Simply equip the device and press the circle button. You will instantly be disguised as a sentry bot, preventing detection by all sentry bot security systems. Press the circle button again to wave at fellow sentry bots, who will then deactivate force fields for you. Caution, use of any weapon while disguised will deactivate the HoloGuise.
Nice of them to already show us footage of what we're about to do. Yeah, if I got ourselves the HoloGuise. It makes us slow, apparently. It's only a disguise, it apparently makes you feel like you're a robot anyway. I guess Ratchet really does get into the part sometimes. So that finally completes our whole gadget lineup here. And now we can personally enjoy all this.
I got some great bargains for you today.
Look at me, I'm buying the Tesla Claw before even getting the Devastator. I'm really sticking to this. So this is essentially supposed to be the endgame gun, you know, like, it's that powerful. Well, of course, this game doesn't exactly lend itself well to, well, adjusting itself to this, but it does help. Just not enough against what you're gonna, you know, use it on. And like I said, this is actually the hardest enemies we'll get in the game, and I don't think we don't run into them for a while. So this will be a little reprieve from them. Anyway, say goodbye to Gadgetron. It's only a sign of things to come for us. And yes, we're going back to Core 2. For another one of those stealth sections, this time it's actually for real. So yes, now we can finally fool the enemies, well, after I don't make it obvious that who I am. Yep, just like that, you can turn it on and off. Just don't be risky like I am. Oh, and don't, just be a little cautious. I wouldn't go back in the line of sight of these enemies when it turns red, because chances are it might just still detect you. Like, maybe not, but, you know, better safe than sorry. So yes, as you can tell, those cake-looking things are actually buttons. They press them and then they activate these little homing shot things. I don't know what they are, but These plasma balls just go out and get you. Of course, you could probably do most of these without the hollow guys, like this whole first part if you're fast enough, but I didn't feel I wasn't that fast. And yeah, you got these where you most definitely need to be prepared in time. And of course, I got ripped off here, so there's nothing. But they apparently already got the fences set up here. So I just saw something glowing yellow there. Well, I don't feel like figuring it out just yet. Maybe I'll figure it out when I have to edit these to add in the commentary, but otherwise, not really feeling it. And these enemies are pretty hopeless if they don't have any buttons next to them. That doesn't mean they're defenseless. There's still that one robot that shot me earlier. They can all do the same thing. Oh, what a way to die. So how do we make the villain look despicable? Why not make them dump chemicals to who knows where on this planet? It's supposed to be that moment. Obviously you don't want to touch those while you're going down. Never had it happen to me, so don't be the first to figure it out.
You will have to destroy those sentry bots. Make sure they do not press that alarm button.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing already, but it's nice to hear. So this is basically when it gets a little harder here at this point, where you now actually have to be way more cautious with how you handle being stealthy. Because this time they start putting them out in locations where you're farther away from the button than they are. And I mean, we already seen what happens when you're fast enough, but this time there's no stopping them if you get caught, so you better be careful. I mean, unless you're really fast with your weapons, you can probably take them out by using a Devastator and firing right at the button immediately. But I don't have a Devastator. I've been told to buy it too many times already, and I don't feel like it now. Oh yeah, and I didn't mention this, but you can press circle to nod at them. This is basically how you get past the little force fields, but I'm just using it just so I can nod, being friendly for no particular reason. They can't even see me back here. Yeah, I should have not bothered those so early on, but I didn't listen. Well, it still worked out. For now, anyway. So I should have just gone out with the bomb glove and dealt with them immediately, because this guy gets to the button. I would have stopped them if it weren't for the other robots, so here's what happens if you get caught and aren't prepared for it. So yeah, don't let that happen. Don't be like me. Don't be a sucker, be a smart genius. Or more importantly, just be cautious. And if this is one of those moments where they don't even have a button to fight back with, they're just there. So they're building some robot here, but it never comes into play. It's just props. Also, I never realized what this area is supposed to be. It looks like, yeah, it just looks like a bunch of tubes held up by something. I mean, that's probably what it is. But you never see anything else beyond that. If that isn't shoddy architecture, I don't know what is. But hey, this is the future where everything's worn out already, so if you're familiar with Star Wars, this should be right up your alley. And looky, we're back here. We just killed that one robot that spooked Clank back in the beginning.
That should do it.
Mom?
Oh, brother.
I tried, Mom. I know.
Hey, look! A sister!
My fellow Blarg, our synthetic world is now fully functional and ready for habitation. However, there is one small obstacle in our way. This pathetic lump of a planet. Due to some blunder of fate, it happens to occupy the galaxy's most perfect orbit. But no more. Behold, the Deplanetizer, the most powerful laser ever created. Soon, we'll move the Deplanetizer into place just above the planet's surface. I will, of course, be on hand to press the button that will blow this mudball to smithereens. No one will even miss it. See you then!
Ratchet, are you all right?
He is going to pay!
Excuse me?
It shouldn't have taken me this long to see it! Drek is going to find out what happens when you mess with my home! What are you smiling at?
This is the Ratchet I always knew was there.
Okay, if we're gonna do this, we need to get onto Drek's ship. And then we can find out where he set up that laser.
I will try to make you proud, Mom.
Well, things have certainly gotten interesting now. So yeah, Drek has finally gained Ratchet's full attention. You know, duping him is one thing, but apparently, don't mess with his home. He will get pissed. Oh yeah, and apparently all the Infobots are Clank's sisters. Either they were said to be Gadgetron, apparently this planet also makes them. So maybe there's a distinction between the two, but that means the whole time we've been collecting our collectibles, our power stars, were all these Infobots were all Clank's sisters. That's a weird thing to think about, but it's a thing. So yeah, now we're gonna finally deal with Drek up close and personal. The laser also is apparently not here in Drek's fleet. That's strange, but okay. We do get a good view of the new planet there. Just right there. I don't even know how you drag a whole entire planet with you, but apparently this fleet can. And so this whole space station, or space stations, is just a harder version of the previous planet, Quartu. You know, they brought back this for an optional goodie. Now it's just a bit harder. And of course, that means this whole entire level is about stealth once more. No giant Clank section though, that's... I don't think we can even achieve that in space. I mean, they could try and that'd be epic, but... no. So yes, the stakes have raised, and so has this level. Either I think fans that are actually metal would be more efficient at killing whoever was swimming in it. I guess this does the job fine. I mean, they could probably cut a person in half, you know, both of them. And look at this, a whole new gadget. You know, they're still providing us new stuff at this point in the game. Like, at what point do you think we should just stop providing the player with new stuff? Because this game's still giving out a whole load of stuff, and this is supposed to be near the end of the game. We're at endgame, folks. There's barely anything left now in the game. We're finally going to confront Drek once and for all. Maybe that thing's supposed to be the tractor beam holding, you know, carrying the planet, but I don't think you just carry a planet with two of those.
Alright!
Oh yeah, and that code bot. I think you could tell that thing's actually sentient. You know, it's like, looks like it's actually moving on its own, but no, just another collectible item. You know, we have gotten to the point where we're dehumanizing it. Through it. Clearly, pretty sure it's sentient. No, it's not. Just an item. And by the way, you can't use it here. It's just another thing to go back to Core 2 again. So here we go. This is what you've been waiting for. A T-posing model. There's probably some development commentary you can look up behind this whole code bot thing, but it's very obviously just, you can tell just not much effort was put into it. Like I said, it literally just T-posed right into its slot. Its hand is sticking out now through this little slot. Yeah, hopefully that will always be the last time we'll have to see Core 2.
I got some great bargains for you today.
We finally we finally have an object to, you know, this whole, oh, even better.
I got some
We finally bought the Devastator.
That's a real beauty.
It took me this long to get it, but here we go. We're at endgame when we finally have the Devastator. Well, technically we used it back, well, I didn't use it, but it was there on that racetrack. You saw it. I mean, unless you were skipping around, not paying attention. Oh well. See you in part 13. notyourusualZero, signing off.